Hi, Antonio, how are you?
Marhaba, Ali, and everybody in Turkey.
Thank you very much. Merhaba sana da. How is life in Ireland? How long you been working from at home?
So a little bit earlier than in Turkey. So we have been working all of us from home since the 14th of March. And I
Yeah.
have to say that probably I was the last one from my team traveling. And I came straight away from Istanbul after being in Izmir and in Ankara, where I've been with also
Yeah,
with
yeah, yeah, yeah.
all the team of ATEC around there.
Yes.
But I didn't have the opportunity. I have to leave Istanbul because everything was developing so fast. And since then, we have been working from home. So it's fantastic to have the opportunity to be here today.
Lovely. It is nice to host you in Turkey as well. It is very proud of representing the Trinity College Dublin and seeing you in here. Okay, Antonio, let's keep going and let me start to ask my usual question to you. When was the Trinity College Dublin established? Where is it located for our students? How many students do you have international, national? Could you a little bit tell us?
Yeah, I want to tell, because I guess that some of the students that they can be listening to us now, they may have not been in Ireland. So obviously, as you know
Yeah.
very well, when you make a choice about a program, it's not only a program, not even the university. You're choosing
Yes.
a particular country, a city, a different type of culture, a language, and all these things, they are important in terms of making your decision. So first of all, we talk about Ireland. Ireland is it's an English-speaking country.
Yeah.
Another language, the official language is Irish, but the
Yeah.
reality is not even 3% of the population they know how to speak Irish. It's not part of the heritage, but they learn only a few hours in the school. But it's a native English-speaking country,
Yes.
which now is the main English-speaking country in the European Union after Brexit. As
Yes.
everybody knows, England, Wales, and Scotland, they are moving away from the European Union. So if you want to study in a country that is an English-speaking country and is part of the European Union, basically Ireland is practically the only option. You have Malta
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Then we talk about a country, it's a small country. I mean, you're in Istanbul now, and in Istanbul, how many people do you have now, Ali? 20 million,
Around
no?
20, yeah,
Growing.
roughly 20, let's say. I don't know after coronavirus, but before
Well,
corona it was,
hopefully will be the same.
yeah,
No major changes. But it's that, yeah, the whole population of Ireland is 4.5 million. So it's a
yeah,
small country. It's not even a quarter of the population of Istanbul alone.
that's right. That's right.
So it's a beautiful country with a very nice countryside and not very heavily populated. However, the main population is in Dublin. So if we're talking, almost half of the population will be in County Dublin,
Yes.
which is the city itself will have a population of around 1 million people. So if you're looking for a city to live in and to study that is like Istanbul, like full of people everywhere and so on, definitely Dublin is
Yeah.
much smaller. However, it's a very busy, very dynamic, very multicultural city as well. You have people from absolutely everywhere, and it's a very safe city. And the beauty is that, you may not have the same offer that you get in terms of cultural events and so on that you get in Paris, for instance.
Yeah.
But the reality is that you have a lot of things to do, and everything is very at hand. So it's very easy without having to plan that much to enjoy all the museums, the restaurants, the cinemas, the festivals that Dublin has to offer. And at the same time,
And plus a very friendly nation.
absolutely. It's very well communicated with everywhere. So you have direct flights with Istanbul and everywhere. So it's very close to all the places in Europe and around the world. But at the same time, as you say, that's probably for me one of the most beautiful things. As everybody can tell from my accent, I'm not from Ireland, I'm from Spain.
Yes.
I've been living in Ireland for over 14 years. And Irish people, they have the reputation of being very friendly, very welcoming. And this is something that you can tell from the very beginning.
Yes.
As a student, I was a student in Ireland as well. And you feel this welcoming very, very soon. No? And this is
Yeah.
also reflected as well, Ali, in the not only the way that people treat you, but also in the regulations, the government.
Yeah.
For instance, the fact that they want to stay in the European Union is that they want to be part of the big team. But then at the same time, you have a stay back visas. So if you come to study in any Irish university, your degree or your master's, you can stay either 1 year or 2 years for the master's to look for a job, which is, you may use it or may not use it, but the country is telling you, you're welcome. We love to have you here. And that's very nice.
So how many students do you have in there?
Trinity is a medium-sized university. We have a little bit less than 18,000 euro. Approximately 12,000 of those students, they are undergraduates, and 8,000, 6,000, they are postgraduates. No? Trinity is a very old university. It's one of the 7 very old universities in the Anglo-Saxon world. So you have Cambridge, Oxford, St Andrew, Edinburgh, Glasgow, and Trinity College. And it's the only one nowadays that is not in the UK. And it's also the only one that has a full historical campus right in the middle of a European capital. So our students, they enjoy the great life in our campus as a student, but at the same time, they can enjoy everything that Dublin has to offer.
Excellent. What can our postgraduate and undergraduate students study at Trinity College Dublin, like engineering, politics? What else they can study? What are the popular subjects for Turkish students, for instance?
Trinity is a comprehensive university. As you very well know, we are not only the oldest university in Ireland, we are 428 years old, founded in 1592, but we are also the top ranked university in the country and always around the top 100 best universities in the world. So to be at that high, to answer your question, you have to be a very, very strong university in everything that you offer. So we are a comprehensive university, and you can study almost anything that you can imagine. It's easier to mention the programs that we don't offer than to go one by one what you can study. So you can study from business to obviously literature, history, law, engineering, computer science, biology and biomedical science, medicine, physiotherapy, pharmacy, almost anything that you want.
Anything.
In terms of popularity for Turkish students, I feel very, first of all, I have to say that I feel very comfortable every time I'm going to Turkey. Not because I find many similarities with also my Spanish people as well, no? But with the fact that geographically and historically, part of Turkey as well is part of Europe as well. So there is a lot of connection. You are very familiar with any other countries in Europe and with Ireland as well. And there is a long tradition of Turkish students coming to Europe through this famous exchange program called Erasmus. So many Turkish students in third year, they go to a European university for a semester or for a year. Saying that, we have, as a study abroad, Turkish students doing anything, but I have to say that when we talk about undergraduate students, there is programs in engineering and science will be very popular, and computer science. So and they can do in Trinity. For instance, for engineering, our programs, they are common entry. So they do the first 2 years, they do a holistic approach on engineering, and then they specialize in year 3 and year 4 if they want to do civil engineering, biomedical engineering, electrical engineering, which we have seen that make our students really highly employable, not only because of the education that they get in Trinity, but also because they work very well in teams. So they have this holistic view on engineering, but they have the specialization. And that will be very popular. And the same for science as well. So in science, you can do biology and biomedical science, for instance, but then you can specialize in year 3 and 4 in immunology, which is unfortunately very popular nowadays with the COVID-19. So we have
unfortunately
academics like Luke O'Neill, that he's one of the top 3 professors in the world for immunology. He's these days all the time on TV shows and radio talking about COVID-19, but you can specialize in neuroscience, where we are very strong, in many other programs. And then our law school, for instance, is almost 300 years old. It's one of the oldest law schools in Europe. And every year we welcome many students from Turkey to do masters in law, particularly. Many of them for the Jean Monnet scholarship. That is a scholarship funded by the European Union, but managed by the Turkish government. And we are the second top university for Jean Monnet scholars in Europe. So we're very popular. And many of them, they will come to do masters in law, masters in human development, or masters in business-related programs.
Yeah. Okay, what about the entry requirement for undergraduate and the postgraduate Turkish student?
So at the moment, if you have two options to apply as undergraduate, which is not really optional because it depends on your background. So if you have studied an international curriculum, like IB, like A-levels, American curriculum, you have to apply directly for the programs. So you apply in our website, you can choose up to 3 different programs and you can apply for them directly. No, there is not like a UCAS in the UK. You apply straight away into medicine, dentistry, law, or whatever you want into the Trinity website, as you know very well.
Yeah.
Then, if you do the Turkish diploma and you don't do an international curriculum, at the moment you have to apply for the Trinity Foundation program. The Trinity Foundation program is a fully Trinity program, so they will be our students. They are fully Trinity students from the very beginning, but it's an extra year. That is a kind of a transition to make sure that the students, they are ready to succeed in their degree, because sometimes the Irish system is quite different from the Turkish system, so to make sure that they are ready to do well as well. Yeah. But as I say, when they get into the foundation, that we are the only Irish university that we have our own foundation program, you are fully Trinity student from the beginning.
I see.
So you don't have to reapply again, you go straight away.
So, in other words, if they apply with the international diploma, they can study 4 years. But if they don't have the international diploma, they can study foundation. So it will be total 5 years.
Exactly. That's totally correct.
Very well.
Then when we talk about masters, our masters, they are 1 year programs. And the main requirements for every single student is to have a GPA of around, it changed from one country to another. In Turkey, I will say that is around 3.0, 3.1. It depends on the university as well that you study, but it will range between 2.9 if you are in a top university in Turkey. In some programs you can get there, and other programs will be, other university will be 3.2, 3.3, and then it depends on the program that you're going to apply. But around 3.0 GPA, that will be the average. And then we show the camera part.
It's okay.
And
it's
then
no problem.
You will need to do as well your IELTS, your TOEFL, and the novelty this year is that we also accept Duolingo as well. We are aware that many English centers, exam centers, they have closed for COVID-19, and this is part of the pattern that we are doing. We are approaching this current crisis as well, is to make sure that we are as flexible as we can to allow our students to prove that they can meet our requirements. So, and that will apply for absolutely everything. I went in some universities, some students, they got delays in terms of getting the final results. As you know, we try to engage now, particularly very personally with every student, to make sure that we can accommodate as much as we can, considering the current circumstances.
Okay, I was going to ask you end of our conversation about is there any flexibility in IELTS requirement, but you told me you accept Duolingo. Do you accept IELTS indicator or TOEFL home-based?
We accept now I don't know exactly which, I know that we accept the online version. So now the IELTS and TOEFL, they were making an effort, if I'm right. No?
Home-based, it is online,
and we accept them as well.
Okay.
So we consider another requirement for postgrad that will be different from one program to another. It will be some of them, they may have an extra requirement. It can be an interview, it can be a test that you have to do, like in computer science. Some of the programs, they may require as well to show a research proposal, but that's, you have to go one by one depending on the program.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, would you like to talk a little bit about professional qualification and the ranking of the university?
No problem at all. In terms of a professional qualification, so all the programs that you do in Trinity, they are like recognized worldwide.
Yeah.
If we talk about undergraduate programs, some particular programs, they require to be able to work a professional qualification. Like we are talking about engineering, pharmacy.
Yeah.
So if you're an undergraduate student, you will have the opportunity to do a 5th year that you have to decide from the beginning that you will get a in pharma or you will get a master in engineering, that will allow you to work as an engineer anywhere in the world, or as a pharmacist as well in any health system. So they are really widely recognized. So a degree or a master or a PhD from Trinity College open the doors of any professional career that you want to develop. And in terms of rankings, as I said, overall we are in around like 100. So we have been growing consistently every single year in all the rankings. So sometimes we are in the 80 something, sometimes we're 104 or 5, sometimes we're 90, but it's always around that change. So some of the schools they're in the top 100 and some of the schools are in the top 50, but that's the average. So it's very strong academically. And that's because research informs every single program that we teach in Trinity.
Yeah. Okay. Could you please tell us about your industry partners and the graduate destination? Because as far as we know, that Ireland is one of the big places for Facebook, Google, everything. Do you have any partnership with them?
We work with many of them. In reality, I love to go to Turkey because at the moment, between, as you say, like they call Ireland, in the last 25 years, the Silicon Valley of Europe, because you have all the Facebook, Google, Twitter, Airbnb, Apple, Microsoft, Intel. You have companies, that's in the IT sector of software, but you also have companies in the pharmaceutical industry like Pfizer, Novartis, Boston Scientific, or when we talk about banking services, you have Accenture, you have Morgan Stanley. So if we take into account all these opportunities of all these companies, if we also consider as well that you do the masters, you have 2 years to look for a job, or you have 1 year, you do your degree. And if you start in Trinity, which is the flagship of the universities in Ireland, it's a fantastic sweet combination at the moment to look for a job and starting a successful career. But particularly if you're Turkish, on top of everything else, is also a huge advantage. And that's because many of these companies, they have the headquarters here, not only for Europe, but also for Turkey as well. Like Google, Airbnb, Facebook, all of them, they have the headquarters for Turkey in Ireland. So it's a great combination at the moment, and very hopefully it will keep being the same after COVID-19, but it has been a fantastic time for Turkish students if they come to Trinity. And also another thing that I know that many Turkish students, they are very strategic as well, and they are really set up as a global citizens, and they know that they work 5 years in Ireland, they can apply for a European passport, for an Irish passport.
Excellent.
And that opens the doors to work anywhere in Europe that you want.
Excellent. So Turkish students who choose to study at Trinity College Dublin has got a lot of opportunity to work in one of those big companies. Absolutely. And may stay in there for more than 5 years and get the passport as well. Excellent opportunity.
Ali, no, what I wanted to mention, you were talking about the partnerships. And I'm going to give you just a couple of samples. If you go to programs like engineering, for instance, in engineering, we have 2 fairs every year with all these companies. They actually come to recruit Trinity students. So you have some, if you go for the integrated undergraduate program with the masters in the 5th year, in the 4th year, you can have a working experience. And many of these companies, they come to hire you, and they pay actually the students for 6 months to work with them. And this is applied to many other programs as well. And it's not only because we already do a lot of research with the industry and we work very close with them, but it's because physically, as I said before, Trinity is in the middle of the city center. And this is very close not only to the historical landmarks, but all the Google, the Facebook, the Twitter, they are around the corner. It's like you
That's
literally
right.
get out of the campus and they are across the road. So
That's right.
that facilitates a lot of synergies between these companies and Trinity as well. If we talk about computer science, you know the company Intel, no?
Yeah.
Intel, they have 5, if I remember right, 4 or 5 research centers in the world. One of them is actually inside Trinity and is the best performing center of Intel in the world.
Excellent. Very good opportunities. Okay, it's already past 22 minutes. We have left only 8 minutes. The conversation going very flying, you know. I can't interrupt you. What about the fees, undergraduate and postgraduate fees for Turkish students? And let's add another question, this one, for make it quicker, scholarships options.
Okay. The fees, if we talk about undergraduates, they typically go between around 19,500 euro, which is mainly for business programs, humanities, law, up to 25,000 euro per year. That's only the fees.
Yes.
And that will cover, in this spectrum, you cover everything, science, engineering, and humanities as well. Then if you want to study a master's, there is a bigger range. So they can go from 12,000 up to 25,000 euro per year. On top of that, what you have to consider as well is that the cost of living, you have to put aside as well on top of the fees around 15,000 euro per year. So altogether, we can be talking between 30 to 40,000 euro for a year.
Roughly, yeah.
Roughly. Now, what is there are many opportunities, not only scholarships. So one of them is before COVID-19, the economy was completely booming in Ireland. So virtually in Dublin was not an unemployment rate. Most of our students, they actually work part-time. And the minimum salary in Ireland is the second highest in Europe, after Luxembourg. So many of our students, they work part-time. And that's not enough to cover, obviously, all they have to pay. But it's a very good help. So the minimum salary is around 10 euro per hour. And that opportunities, they are open for international students as well. They can work up to 20 hours per week, and they can work even full-time during the summer and Christmas. And the reality is, like now, it was an article in the Pi News, in a magazine, online magazine for education, that was saying that Ireland actually was giving the biggest support of many of the English-speaking countries in the world to international students. And one of them is because the students that they are now here, that they were working a little bit, but they cannot work now, they're getting all the help from the government, which is 350 euro per week as well. So this is there. Another one is that we have different scholarships. So for foundation, first year undergrad, and master students, all of them, they can apply for our Global Excellence scholarships. This Global Excellence scholarship is typically between 3,000, 5,000 euro that applies as a discount on the fees for foundation, for first year undergrad, or for master students. Then if you're going to do a master's, you also have to check as well with the schools, because some of the schools, they have their own scholarships as well. So you have to see what opportunities you have available for your specific program. And then on top of this, there is another scholarships that is called the Foundation Scholarship, which is nothing to do with the foundation program. It's called also Foundation because we have it since the foundation of Trinity 400 years ago. And this is for undergraduate students. In second year, the students, they can do an exam. And if they do very well in this exam, they got the Foundation Scholarship. That involves a big discount on the fees, free accommodation on campus, and also a free meal every day in our old dining hall, which is like Harry Potter style. But you get this one for 5 years. No? So basically, if you do well in this exam, you will benefit from this one for year 3, for year 4, if you want to do a master's, if you want to do a PhD, for up to 5 years. No? This scholarship has like people like Oscar Wilde, if I remember right, people like Mary Robinson, that was the High Commissioner for Human Rights and President of Ireland. Many prominent people has got it. And we give of those ones between 50 and 80 every year.
Okay, excellent.
And
What
one more
about
thing, Ali, sorry for interrupting you.
Tell me, it's okay.
One more thing is that people know about, we have half of the Nobel Prizes from Ireland came from Trinity, very old university, beautiful university, and very strong academically. But what many people, they don't realize is that Trinity has also been, in the last 5 years, the top university in Europe producing entrepreneurs, business people. So every single year, we are the top university producing entrepreneurs. If I remember right, the last time I checked, the second one in Europe was Cambridge, but far away from Trinity. So it's at the moment, it's part of the culture of Trinity. And this is something that didn't happen by accident.
I see.
So what we see is that we realize, not now, in 2008, in the last recession, that it doesn't matter if you have the best education in the world. Things like COVID-19, a war, economic crisis happens, and it doesn't matter how well educated you are, you may struggle to develop your career. So in Trinity, we have an innovation center that is open to any single student. If you study medicine, philosophy, engineering, whatever you do. And if you have an idea for a business, we help you there to develop this idea. And if it's very good, we may give you seed money to start the business or even a place in our incubator. And that's how we are helping our students to succeed regardless of the conditions of the time.
Okay, Antonio, we have only 2 minutes. We have a lot of questions more. And if you go quickly, I will appreciate that. What about the accommodation and the prices?
We guarantee accommodation for foundation, for first year undergraduate students, international students, and master students, they can apply. And the fees will be around €6,000, between 6,000 euro for the year. But this is all included within the 14,000, 15,000 euro I was mentioning before of the cost of living.
Yes. And also a student who has got a part-time opportunity, if they work part-time, a month they will earn easily €800. So it will cover 2/3 of their expenses actually easily. And summertime, if they add it top of that, it may cover full expenses. What about the club sport opportunities for the students?
We have one of the things is that we have the biggest gym in Dublin, which is in the middle of the city center in our campus. We have around 200 different clubs and societies. In terms of sports, you can practice anything from football, rugby, to fencing, from rock climbing, skiing, anything that you want, from the lowest level, almost beginner, up to professional level. And in terms of clubs, we have clubs from traveling around Europe, from knitting, video games, but we have some of the societies, that we have two societies that they are the oldest societies in the world. We have the Phil and the Hist, that they have been in Trinity for 300 years. And they invite every year like a Nobel Prizes, like a Malala, like a Phil Hicks, or this year we have a George Martin, from the writer of Game of Thrones, and all of them come to Trinity invited only by the students to talk to the students. And these particular ones, they are debating societies. There is a famous writer now that is very young, Sally Rooney, that there is a new TV show on BBC called Normal People, where you can see Trinity featuring very prominently there. And she was the champion in Europe of debating societies, and she came from the Phil and the Hit, one of them in Trinity as well. No? She was a Trinity student. So we have a long tradition of them.
Excellent.